congratulatory note to your future self. You're going to address the envelopes, and then we're going to mail it to you somewhere near the end of the year. You're just going to get a note from yourself saying, hey, you did it.
If you feel so inclined to rise during this manifesto, please do. We believe in the power of community. Everyone is welcome!
And welcome Nicole Jones to the stage. There you go, girl. You got it. Love it.
I told Michelle I needed a stool because I'm old, all this standing up and all that stuff. But I'm going to cry. I'm telling you right now because I'm rising. And I have rose, I have risen, I have arise. And first thing I want to do is be very transparent. Don't go when you see the bio and say, oh, AI wrote that. Yeah, look at Dave, thank you, wherever you are, because that opening made me sit over there and think, like, now my family really are going to accept me. Because they are like, she's crazy, literally, but now they understand why. So thank you. And I invited them today to just be a part of the space that I get to be a part of and have been a part of for a while now. And so we'll talk a little bit about my journey. If y'all thought I was coming up in here to say, oh, I was broke down, crying, all that, and then I rose, it's not happening. Because that is trauma, and we are not centering that shit today, excuse me. Sister is on a healing journey, and we are rising, and I'm free, so we're not doing that. But what I really wanted to do was thank Michelle, thank Creative Mornings for this space, and I'm gonna go a little bit through a time travel period. Hopefully we can get it out in 25 minutes. And just when I started thinking about Rise, the first thing that immediately came to me was Maya Angelou, and I was like, still I rise. And I was like, okay, yeah. When I played the video, Marlene even sent me the video, so I was like, we on this wave thing. And then as the more I meditated on it, because I think you called me in like November, like 2 days before my birthday, because I wrote it down. And I was like, well, we'll be on a rest break, so that'll give me enough time to really like think about it. And the more I started thinking about it, you know, Spirit was like, no, go deeper. You can come with that, you already know that, like go deeper. And because we are not always comfortable talking about the things that we've experienced, and it's easy to just keep going and not really take the time to pause. Thank you, Robert Dortch. People, I just can't get rid of them. But I want to start off with the reason why I said I was going to cry, because I invited somebody today, and she didn't know why. I just was like, come out and see me. And I was like, you never really get, you see me? She's like, I saw you on TV and all these things. I'm like, no, come to this talk. So I want to acknowledge Tanya Brown. Stand up, rise. Just rise up and sit right back down. Rise up, rise up. And sit them back down. And the reason why I wanted to acknowledge her is because if it had not been for Tanya Brown, I would not be sitting on this stool right now. I came to Richmond off the Greyhound bus with my bags, and I had took a job probably $30,000 short, but I was like, I'm going. And the first day I got to work, they said, well, we're gonna have this lady train you. And it was Tanya Brown. And if anybody know Tanya Brown, listen, y'all think I got energy. She even said it on her tag. They was like, what do you do morning after? She said, all day. Tanya is all day, okay? And it was a period in my life where I just felt like, okay, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna try this new thing. I originally was like, you know, I'm gonna move. I want my son, Zoe, Rise. Y'all can just get up and sit right back down. You gotta, look at my son. He's like, yeah, I got a grown son. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get a better life for my son. And we just gonna leave. Everybody was like, well, where you going? I was like, to Richmond. They was like, you know we ain't got no family there. Well, who you going with? I was like, I'm gonna figure it out. So needless to say, if we can go to the first slide, this is 1998. And when I started thinking about Rise, I was like, okay, I said I was gonna come to Richmond, and I started thinking about, okay, when I get there, I'm gonna get a job, I'm gonna get an apartment, I'm gonna figure this thing out, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna make sure my son has everything that he needs. And so that's why you see that kind of like wave, because I was carrying 29 years of all that I knew, coming from New York City, being able to come into a space that was unknown, and I didn't know what to expect. And so that's Richmond in the background. I was like, okay, we're gonna try this thing out. And you know, for a period of time I got here and I was like, this is different. I mean, at that time we didn't even have short pump. And I'm gonna circle back around. Well, I think I'll start with it now, but like, so when I met Tanya, she said, well, where are you? You know, my children's father is from New York, and she's like, where are you staying? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I just got an address. I met a friend, I don't know. And so she's like, well, how you getting home? I said, I don't know. I didn't even have a ride. A friend dropped me off at work, and I did not know how I was getting home, but God. And Tanya was right there, and she said, well, not only can I take you home, but I'll pick you up and take you to work every day. And the rest is history. And so at that time, I was living with a friend in what they Richmonders call San Susie. Now, I'm from New York. Let's say that again. I'm from New York. And I was up in San Susie. I couldn't tell my family. I was like, I cannot tell them nothing because they're gonna be like, what are you doing? I used to be at night under the bed like, oh my God, what is happening? This is a war zone. And in the morning, Tanya would ride up on 2 wheels. Girl, I'm outside. And I'm like, all right. So she had that energy that just was like, yeah, I was like, oh, we doing this then. I don't know what it is. And so I went on, I stayed at the job maybe about a year, and then I started meeting people. And I met somebody, and so she introduced me to some people, and I eventually left the job, but me and Tanya always stayed connected. She helped me with my son. He was a latchkey kid. She would go home, make sure he had dinner, all the things. I'd be at work 3 to 11. And so in 2001, I had my daughter. Shout out to Chloe, because they are recording this, and if Chloe said, you don't mention my name just because I'm not there, I'm cutting you off. So shout out to Chloe. Yeah, and things started shifting because I came again with this rise mentality, right? Like, oh, all I need to do is get a job. If I do the things that I'm supposed to, I'm going to be successful. All you gotta do is get a job, make the money, get you a nice apartment. Where I came from, the apartments that are in Richmond where you have like the balcony, the little pool, the amenities. That was equivalent to like if you moved from New York to New Jersey. So we had done arrived. Because we had our little apartment. Couldn't wait for my family to come down. I moved out of San Susie, y'all. Tanya and them helped me get a place. They was like, you cannot be living here. And so in 2001, I had my daughter, and life took a change, took a turn. And again, that rise mentality was really this like, kind of like just take the steps, the conditioning. The upbringing of like, if you do this, you get this. If you do this, you get that. And no matter what happens, you be laying on the side of the road, they gonna keep stepping over you, but you keep going. And so I hit a really low point. And it was what they call now very low vibrational. It was very low. I was really low. I was really, really low. And, you know, we had to experience some things that I thought I would never experience because society said, if you do these things, you're going to be successful. But it didn't teach me, you know, about how to handle all the stuff that I had brought with me. The 29 years, I never dealt with it. And so when I got to that low vibration, I just started thinking, you know, okay, well, I'm here. I ain't going back because they gonna talk about me. And what can I do? But in that moment, I was noticing like my spirit was rising. You know, my energy was rising, my vibration was starting to rise, and I began to get a new way of thinking. I started meeting people that was like, you gotta deal with your stuff. You gotta deal with your stuff. And I'm like, well, what stuff is that? You know, but it made me really do some digging and some uncovering and some unshedding, and allowed me to keep going. And so again, 2001, 2008 was like, let's skip it to go to the next one. And so 2009, 2016, as you see, it was like percolating. So things were starting to percolate because I was starting to connect with people. I was starting to meet things. I want to shout out my sisters, because by then I probably was like, hey, y'all, I need y'all. And so my sisters is here. My sister, I'm gonna tell you about my three sisters. So one, I call her Missy Martha. She is the Martha Stewart of Richmond. Get into it, okay? She will curate a house for you. My sister Ty, she is my stylist. Every time I call her, I got something to do. She's like, absolutely not. Absolutely, and you done got down there and got country. But she picked this outfit today and she said I could wear black. And so because I wear black all the time. So she said I could wear black. And then my sister Robin, she's over there. She is our IT guru. I call her for business. But when she pick up that FaceTime, you already know you got 2 minutes. Because she looking at you, what is it? What's the question? Okay, all right, cool. So anyway, keep going. So 2009, my son had graduated. And again, as I'm experiencing all of these changes and turmoils, I'll just give y'all this little bit. I had got married, got divorced, had a kid. So now going from 1 kid to 2 kids and just really trying to find this path that was not working for me. Because I felt like it was very like linear. And I'm like, I am not linear. And I didn't know that then. But I was like, this is just not working. But I ain't going back. So what we gonna do? And so I just kept plugging along and I kept doing my internal work, right? Because if you see me, somebody was saying, I seen you all over. So what you see now, people think is the manifestation of, look, she's rising. Now, I've been rising because I've been doing the work. I've been doing the work. And so the rise is not what you see today. That is an external view of something that society makes us think if you do these things, you achieve this. I did not achieve them because of that. And so at that space, I still was on this linear. Like, it feel good, it's not. I'm like struggling and I'm just like, what is happening? And I think I met Rom because my stepson was in school with him, but we just kind of met in passing. It was kind of like, hey, how you doing? Yeah, good, okay. And I had been involved in a lot of like organizations, just doing volunteer work and really trying to get myself together, figuring out like, what is the success gonna look like and when am I gonna get there? Because I'm telling you, this was not cool. And I wanna just say this one caveat. For Black women, the rise and the fall is not the same as others, because some of us, when we fall, it take us a lot longer to get back up. It take us a lot longer to get back up. Some of us are limping on one leg. Y'all talking about rise. I'm like, sister can't fly on one wing. Okay, y'all gonna have to help me. Give me a kickstand, something. But I need you all to understand that when we talk about race and black and white, it's real. It's real. And that rise that some folks see is not a rise. It's we did the work and we still working. And we gonna keep working because it's gonna take us longer to work because we didn't have a 400-year head start, and I'm just gonna keep it real. And so because we didn't, we are finding ways and we're connecting with people who did have the head start. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, get y'all a Jill Lemon and a Liz Dewar over there. Those are my people. Sarah Abelbachers and Deron Bagats and Michelle Mosby. You get y'all some people that done did this and help you move forward. So again, 2009, 2016, my son will tell you I ain't gonna go there because he be like, we ain't revisiting that. We had went from our apartment overlooking the woods to basically the low vibrational projects. But it was like, okay, so he like, you brought me all the way down here to go back to the projects? We could have stayed in New York. You know, but we made it. We made it. And so as you see, it's percolating. Let's go to the next one. Look at that girl. Get that girl. So see how it kind of like leveled out? And the reason why that's its own slide is because I'm going to say that I remember I was on a volunteer for Art 180. My daughter was in the program. Everybody knows that, so we don't got to go through all of that. But I remember I would be leaving the board meetings in the morning, and I'd be leaving, and me and Marlene be at the door, and I'd be like, at the door, like, because I worked for the state, and I hated it. And I would tell her, like, girl, Tasha, I met this girl at my first job at the state, and I came in the office, she was working in human resources. I was like, you're going to smile. And we've been friends 25 years, and so I would take her to New York with me. I was like, you're getting out of Richmond, I gotta show you something different. And I coerced her, and I probably was a bad influence, but that's my girl. Whenever I call her, I was a bad influence, I'm not gonna lie, because I was like, I'm gonna show you some things. Don't tell people when we get back, but it's gonna change your life, sis. It's gonna change your life. And so this 2017, the reason why it is its standalone slide, because I would be leaving the board meetings, and I'd be like at the window of Art 180, like, well, so what y'all gonna be doing? What y'all stay in here? Like y'all just gonna be hanging out? Like it's just like a creative space. Like y'all just don't go home. Everybody just be chilling. The energy was good, and everybody was like, yeah, go to work, see you. And I was like, no, I'll be leaving the door. And Marlena contested that. I'd be like, I don't want to leave. I never wanted to leave that space, and I didn't realize why until probably just a couple of days ago, because that is when the shift happened. I went from this like linear path of like, you do this, to a non-linear path that I had already knew within me, but I wasn't listening because I was doing the work, but I wasn't there yet. And when I tell you, I remember Marlene tells all the time, I was on the beach and, you know, Trey was leaving, and she's like, well, you want to talk about Trey's job? Trey's job? And I'm like, okay. So we started having a couple of conversations, and fast forward, I came on to Art 180. But in that moment, what I realized, again, just a couple of days as I've been thinking about this rise theme and moving from linear to non-linear, it unlocked some levels that I had been trying, like, there's coding in our DNA based on historical trauma and things that have happened to us in our lives that if we don't do the work, we won't unlock the code. And I had unlocked the code when I came into Art 180 within me. So what you see is not, oh, she did this, she's great at it. No, I unlocked the code that put me on a path to rise. Because I was able to really fully understand what creativity meant, what innovation meant, what really being and doing and living, you say manifesto, we say culture, we say what that meant to do that shit. And so shout out to my Art 180 family over there, because I'm telling you, we killing the game. We killing the game. Shout out to Chris Harrison White, our first black president, board president. When I came to Art 180, I was toe up, and Chris was at the table. I said, would you be my mentor? And she said, girl, like she was banking then and all that, you know, Chris, be fly. And Chris was like, listen, I was like, I promise I will be low maintenance. I will not worry you. I just need somebody to talk to. Because, girl, I got so much going on, I just don't know what to do. But, like, Chris was like, okay, sure. I don't know what I'm getting into, but okay, as my obligation to Art 180, I'll do it. Okay. And I remember calling and she's like, okay. Anybody that knows Chris is a thinker. And so we have been on this journey together for a long time, and she always encourages me. She's always like, I'm so proud of you. She's always like, I'm here if you need me. We got together one day, spent like 3 hours, and her husband was like, I was calling y'all not gonna eat? We just gonna drink. It's like, keep it coming, Chris. And so, Takia, see Takia over here. I got 5 minutes. Oh, Lord, that's like the awards. You know, DC just said, I'm just kidding. All right, go to the next one. Go to the next one. Go to the next one. All right, so 2017, I wrapped up I unlocked that new level of expansiveness. It became fluid, it became open, I became attracted to it, it became attracted to me. I began to embrace love, creativity, wholeness, oneness, freedom, liberation. And so all of this is the result of that. So that's why you see that going up. So I got 3 things I want to leave y'all with, right? Because when we think about rise, we think about, again, doing something, but in order to rise, you gotta let go. In order to rise, you have to trust the process. Yes. And in order to rise, I don't know if Josh Epperson is in here, but it's about conscious decisions. The only thing that separates me from any person in this room is the decisions that I've had to make to get to where I am. Amen. I lost friends, I lost relationships, and all other things. And so I have three other things, and we closing. My Art 180 family, what's my number? What's my number? What? They know I work in 3s. I'm really into like symbols and numbers and all that. So I was cleaning up and I found this card, and Robert reminded me of it today, but Marlene gave me this card. It said, know when to rest and know when to rise. And this morning, I pulled these 3 cards. And when I pulled these 3 cards, remember I said, you gotta let go, you gotta trust the process, and you gotta make conscious decisions. And so my card said, I have the power to change my life for the better. I had to let go though. It said, I trust the timing of my life. I have to trust the process and know that I'm here right now for this reason to do what I'm supposed to be doing. Ain't nobody else supposed to be doing it. And I'm gonna keep doing it because I had the power to change my life, so it allowed me to be in positions now. And then the last one I said about conscious decisions. And so the decision to bet on me, it says, I am worthy of the very best in life and lovingly allow myself to accept what comes my way. And everybody that knows me know I have not been good with that. I have not been good with acceptance. I have not been. But today, girl, thank you.
Stay right there. We would love to take your questions.
Oh, questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you so much, Nicole. I have the chills. My whole body is just resonating with all that you said. You talked about doing the work and that inner work. Do you have some specific examples of either modalities or supports or people or ways in which were most helpful for you in doing that inner work?
So for starters, go to Ashley. Where's she at? Ashley. Go to the Well Collective. But I do a lot of reading. I've found that my healing has come from me reading and allowing what I read to resonate. Get you a good person that is not going to tell you what you want to hear. Dr. Ron Bagat. And he said, my sister. But also be okay with what comes before you and stop questioning it. Only you know yourself. So I had to deal with when my family is like, you do too much. And I'm like, no, I don't. But sometimes you got to listen to that because they have helped me more than they know, all of my friends and family, to really see me. So it's just not about the process, it's the practice. So what is your practice? Like my practice is being quiet. My practice is shutting down. My practice is knowing when to go off the grid. So thinking about whatever your practice is, but Ashley can help you if you need anything else.
I'm going to hand that to you since you're right there.
So I don't have a question, just want to say I'm so proud of you and thank you for all the books.
Other questions? Because I have one too, so I might just ask while you guys are percolating out there. Are you bringing this mindful presence to your new role? And can you tell people what your new role is?
Okay, so I'm laughing because I'm looking at Rom. He's like, you better say the right answer. Because I'm not always mindful in my new role. I'm not. I was like, I just thought I was like a little bit of a disruptor, but I realized I'm more of like an arsonist. So I like start the fire. But the only thing is I don't disappear. I stay with you through the whole thing. I stay with you. I'm gonna work with you because I'm gonna make sure that we get to this together. And so the role that she's talking about is I am or have been recently appointed to the 9th District City Council of Richmond. And I shout out to Letitia Holmes, our council chief of staff. I saw another colleague in here, but no, I'm trying to bring some creativity, child. So we need creativity with this budget and these meals tax. And I want to say, on the politics side, I also want to shout out and remember the name Michelle Mosby. She's been a sister to me on this political journey, a journey that was non-linear, that I did not see myself on. But when you're open and you're fluid, it comes, and I'm like, no. Yes. And that's what they do. That's what they do. Because they will say I overanalyze everything, and then after I finish analyzing it, I say, let's go get a coffee or have a meeting. My family is sick of that.
Keep the mic, but tell us a little bit about your creative practice.
So, one, my creative practice is I get to do it every single day when I walk into Art 180. It is a practice that we live, breathe, do. If you come in, you might see us dancing, singing, just wilding out. And to be able to be in that creative space on a daily basis is like the highest elevation of self. And so they be sick of me too. Like everybody, they all sick of me. But today, Dave is gonna help them understand why. And so our practice is we come in, we are a collective. We are not individuals. We do not operate by hierarchy. We are about the process of creativity and doing it well, and unlocking potential for young people through creative art as the vehicle. And so being able to do that every day, like from the time I start to the time I go to bed, everything in between has just aligned with it. So it allows me to do it with ease and really continue to know that I can't live without the art. I can't live without it, so yeah.
We have another question.
Hi, thank you so much for your time. For anybody that was here last month, there was also a theme that you've continued today about how when you rise, sometimes you threaten relationships, or you might move away from relationships that are core to your life. So I wonder if you have any insight, any thought about how you've moved and flowed through that, or suggestions for people who might be feeling distance with their relationships that they've had as they're rising or as they're evolving into their own nonlinear path?
Great question, Jolinda.
So I have not always been good at doing that. I'm turning over here because my sisters is like, I feel the energy. I was like, why y'all all over here? But I have not always been great at that. I isolate. And in the process of me isolating, I distance myself from people. And as I come through and I rise again, I'm like, you could have just said you didn't feel like being bothered. I mean, going off and just doing your thing does not really reflect love. And so then I have to go back and apologize and make sure that if I caused harm, I'm letting my friends and my family know that this was something that I was going through. You might not understand it, but I'm sorry. And I've just learned to continue to do that. And then there are some relationships that are just like, goodbye. And I had to learn to accept that too. And so when we talk about low vibration, it's like, it was low vibrational, sis, let it go. And so I'm learning to practice that, because on a nonlinear path, everyone is not going to understand your journey and where you're going. I personally get this from my mama. I feel like I'm supposed to take everybody with me where I'm going, because I'm just like, no, they gotta go. How we gonna leave them? So I think it's just a practice of mindfulness and making sure that you are paying attention to you, because you're only responsible for you and people are responsible for them. But part of that process is that people are having their own experiences too. And as they're having their own experiences, don't take it personal. I be taking it personal, and I start thinking, but my sisters help me with that. But yeah, so I think it's just really understanding where you are and realizing what is meant to be there and what's not meant to be there, and just, again, letting go. So I'm trying to practice letting go. Goodbye. See you later. Sayonara. Good riddance.
I got two. I'm going to just borrow this real quick, and then I'll run it back, and then I'll come to you.
What does rising feel like in your body? What does rising feel like in your body?
That's a great question.
Yes. So rising in my body is when I'm calm, but also awareness, because we have to embody who we say we are. And so if I'm rising, I have to embody that spirit of rise. I can't just be out here, I'm doing it. I have to be aware. So understanding that when your body is talking to you, knowing what it's saying, and so practicing just being in an embodied space of continued awareness, an embodied space of recognizing the things that are coming at you. And when mine's is off, like this morning, I was like, okay, you're not embodied. I'm over there, I'm crying. I'm crying. But I knew that was because I hadn't really embodied, and I wasn't listening to my body. My body was just like, you okay? But I also often take that anxiousness and flight or fear, so I'm working through that. So when I know that I'm not fully, like right now, I'm good, I'm not rising, so. Okay. It's okay.
Good morning, Miss Nicole. This has been amazing. You are amazing. You have done and are doing so many great things. Right now, identity is really important to me. And just listening to you, reading your bio, just knowing you are a person who does not limit yourself. And I feel like sometimes as a Black woman and being a young Black woman that I have a hard time with, clumsy, that I have a hard time with just understanding that I don't have to limit myself in any way. But of course, it's still hard to navigate the mind mountains when you have told yourself or been told so many times that you must limit yourself. So what words do you tell yourself, or what do you do when you ever feel like, you need to overcome or not hold yourself back from things?
Fantastic question. Thank you.
They working you out too today, girl.
I like it. I'm getting my exercise.
Get your steps in.
Yeah, there you go. Good.
So shout out to Taya. Taya is my Boo Thang. She popped up at Art 180 one day, and like we've been joined at the hip, and I'm just happy to help be a part of her path and her process. But the thing that I've told myself is I took this course. It was called Radical Permission or something. It was about radical permission. Adrienne Marie Brown, for those of you who know her. And basically she was like, what you tell yourself is, I don't, that part, but no, really. When you're dealing with it for so many years, it's just that when those feelings or those thoughts come up, just really finding time to kind of like process it. So journaling and really like being able to see it on paper to know like this is what I'm telling myself. And so part of that practice was us having to write all the time and then go back and read it. But going back and reading it, it's like prompts that really resonated in a way that was like beginning to like start like shattering, self-doubt, disbelief and things that I had told myself over the years. Because if I would have kept telling myself something, I probably would be dead, seriously. I really would, because my mind just does a lot. And so I had to find ways to really practice and get with people that can help you. I just surround myself with people that gonna peel me up off the floor. Cause I'm telling you, that Liz Dewar, Liz Dewar be peeling me up off the floor. Get you a Liz Dewar. But I think it's just really knowing yourself. The first step is awareness, right? So you're already aware of it. So the fact that you're aware of it means you can do something different. You can go from linear to non-linear. It's gonna take some practice, but again, you just gotta keep doing it.
Beautiful.
Hold it.
Stay right there.
Okay.
Don't go anywhere. You're going to stay up here with me now.
Okay, cool.
We're just going to do this together. That was an amazing answer. I think that a lot of the things that you talk about too is the fact that you have to practice it, and it's not just, I actually wrote about this week, which is very timely, and some of you came to the talk I gave earlier this week about unveiling your authentic self, and it's a process. People think you can just, when you say, if I could just let this go, it's not an act, it's a practice. It's the noticing, it's the actually being able to name it and feel it, and how you rise in your body, and how you know that you have to go back to that journaling, how you have to go back to those things. So I feel like the universe is happening here. Thank you so very much for your beautiful talk today.